on earth did you want to turn off for Dilmouth?
I like the sound of it. Anyway, I've hardly seen the sea yet.
Going for a paddle, Gwenda?
I might very well. Don't be superior. It's all new to me, darling. That's what you don't understand. Giles, look!
What?
Just stop! I've got to take a look at that.
What?
That house.
Gwenda, what on earth would you do with a vast place like that?
Live in it. It's just what I want. What I've always dreamed of. And the agents are in Dilmouth. See, I was right to come.
Darling, you can't buy a house in Dilmouth when you're just married. People retire to Dilmouth.
Well, I'm just an ignorant New Zealander. I can do what I want. Galbraith and Penderley in 4 Street.
Well, all right, if that's what you want, but it's the last house we see today.
It might be the last house we're going to see, but that's all.
It seems rather large. Is it 7 bedrooms?
6. In my opinion, the 7th is a dressing room.
It's a lovely big room, Mrs. Hangrave. But you can't see the sea.
Are you a Devon man, Mr. Reed?
Yes, I was born in Plymouth, but my wife has never been to England before. I just flew back last week, after 3 years in New Zealand.
On business?
Yes, the Meat Marketing Board.
My husband was with the bank.
Really?
And secretary of the golf club. He was very much attached to Dilmouth.
Linen cupboards here. Is this the bathroom? Oh, yes, it is. With a mahogany surround. Oh, Giles, look, isn't that wonderful?
It's quite old-fashioned, but my husband wouldn't change it.
Oh, I really love it. I can just see celluloid ducks in a bath like that.
I think you mean plastic, Gwenda.
It was celluloid when I was little. And then there must be another bedroom here. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hangrave. It's just that I feel so at home here. Now, this is the room for me. And there's the sea.
What's wrong?
I don't know. It's like vertigo. Someone on my grave. This house isn't haunted, is it?
I never heard so.
But someone died here.
My husband died in St. Monica's nursing home.
Of course, you told us. I'm ever so sorry.
In a house of this age, there must have been some deaths. Miss Elworthy, from whom we purchased it 7 years ago, was in excellent health. She went abroad to do missionary work. And now I expect she'll want to see the garden. We have a man who comes twice a week, but it's so difficult to get people since the war, and it's not exactly reliable. Oh, dear. Excuse me.
Yes, of course. Do you think it's someone else wanting to view?
Well, I doubt it. The price is pretty steep.
Well, that Forsythia will have to go. It completely blocks the view. Anyway, there should be steps here down to the lawn.
Steps? Gwenda, I thought this place gave you the creeps.
Oh, that was just silly. I really want it, Giles. Aunt Mary's furniture will be perfect.
It's 500 over the top.
Make an offer then. Do a brutal deal with Galbraith and Penderley and feel happy. get up.
Why?
Just because you're a man of leisure for the next 2 months.
Moving into this house is the hardest work I've ever done in my life.
And the workmen will be here, and Mrs. Cocker. She said something yesterday about the devil and idle hands, and I think she meant you. Hi, Mrs. Cocker.
They make a powerful lot of dust, they workmen.
Yes, I know. I found this to cover the table in the dining room. It's quite valuable.
Not a bit too soon, in my opinion, madam.
I'll do it now, then. Oh dear. How silly of me. I always think there's a door through here.
Well, 'twould save a tidy bit of trouble, madam, to have a door there.
Do you think so? I'll have a word with Mr. Sims about it. If you could put this on the table for me, I'll take this up to my husband and get his breakfast.
Very well, madam.
It's from Raymond West.
Who?
Raymond West, my cousin in town, the writer. I told you about him.
Oh, yes. What does he want?
Wants us to spend a few days with them in London. He says he and Jen are dying to meet you and show you around.
Oh, no, Giles.
Oh, Gwenda, why not? They're perfectly harmless. It might be an idea for us to have a break. And there are 1 or 2 things I should do in town. Why don't you want to go?
There's too much to do here. You know it'll be chaos.
Darling, it'll be chaos anyway. Why don't we let Sims and Mrs. Cocker fight it out while we take a break?
No. You go if you want, darling. It's you they want to see after all these years. I'll stay here.
You'll be lonely.
Don't be too sure. I might have a mad affair with Reg.
Reg?
He's the mason.
Is he now?
Looks like you're going back to old times, miss.
Old times?
Yeah. Come across the old steps, see? Just like you want 'em now. When someone planted over and covered 'em up.
That was silly of them. You want a view here down to the lawn and the sea.
Yes, and these shrubs will make it dark in the house, too. Still, they was growing a treat. Well, Forsythia ain't much, but they widulous. They cost money.
Oh, but this is much nicer.
Yeah, well, maybe 'tis.
Mr. Foster, who lived here before the Hengraves? They didn't stay in this house very long.
No, a matter of 6 years or so. And before them, the Miss Ellsworthys, churchy folk, missions to the heathen. Who was it before that? Oh, yes, I know. Mrs. Findison. Proper gentry she was. Planted most of this garden afore I were born.
Did she die here?
No, died out in Egypt or some such place. But they brought her home here and she buried in the churchyard there. When none of they new houses built up along then. Changes.
Well, I suppose there have to be changes. Improvements.
Well, I don't see any. That used to be the cottage hospital down there, nice and handy. And then they goes and builds that new place a mile out of town. Changes all the time. Now, what's the good of that? You can't do no proper planting if you don't plan ahead.
What do you fancy, Mrs. Reed? We got a nice candy stripe. We do a lot of that. 1 or 2 walls and a matching emulsion.
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Sims.
It's contemporary. This won't be your room, I take it. Well, not when the other's been decorated.
I do like this room.
Been the nursery at one time, I fancy.
What?
Bars on the windows. Still.
I know what I want. I want a wallpaper with bunches of tiny scarlet poppies and something else. Yes, poppies and bunches of blue cornflowers. To match this, a white background and bunches of red and blue flowers.
Oh, Mrs. Reed.
Oh, and another thing. This is stuck. Even my husband couldn't get it open. Do you think?
Been painted over a good few times. My carpenter will see to that. The redecorating will take care of any damage.
And it won't alter the estimate, Mr. Sims, because my husband...
Oh, bless us now. Got some good news for you on that score as it happens, Mrs. Reed.
You have?
That door downstairs to the dining room you said you wanted. Well, Red scraped some plaster away. He said there's been a door there before.
There was a door.
Simplest thing in the world to put it back. So that'll take a few pounds off what I quoted you.
I knew there was a door.
Common sense, really. But that wallpaper you were talking about, cornflowers and poppies or something. I'll take a good look through the samples, but I can't call to my memory right
I can just see celluloid ducts in a bath like that.
I think you mean plastic.
That door downstairs to the dining room that you said you wanted. Well, Red scraped some plaster away. He said there's been a door there before.
Like you're going back to old times, miss.
Old times?
Yeah, come across the old steps. Just like you want them now.
Been the nursery at one time, I fancy. Been painted over a good few times. My carpenter will see to that. The redecorating will take care of any damage.
I want a wallpaper with bunches of tiny scarlet poppies and bunches of blue cornflowers.
Hello? Hello?
Giles,
Are you all right, darling?
are you in London?
Yes, I'm calling from the West. Look, Gwenda, they really would love you to come down just for a few days. Are you there? Gwenda,
Yes. I'm here.
hop on a train and I'll see you at Paddington tomorrow. What do you say?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Splendid. Raymond and Joan will be chuffed. And there's someone they would like you to meet.
And here she is, Aunt Jane. This is Giles' wife, Gwenda.
How do you do, Miss Marple?
Oh, how do you do?
Do sit down.
What an unusual name.
It's Welsh. My mother was Welsh.
Oh, but I thought Joan told me that you came from New Zealand.
My mother died when I was born. We were living in India, so my father sent me out to New Zealand to live with relatives. It wasn't long before he died himself.
Oh, dear me, yes, such a treacherous climate. I know one or two old India hands in St. Mary Mead. That's my village.
Aunt Jane's something of a local celebrity.
Oh, dear boy.
She solves puzzles, and not the ones in the Times.
Well, I'm very fond of the crossword.
What sort of puzzles, Miss Marple?
Very murky puzzles, Giles. The things that happen in an English village would utterly amaze you.
Which is why I suppose you spend so much time there, Raymond.
Yes, my angel. The ambience suits me to perfection. Under the thatch of the lilacs and Darjeeling, dark passions stir.
Here in simple, uninhibited London, we need the art to jazz things up.
Which reminds me, we're taking you all to the court tonight.
Oh, the court?
It's a theatre, darling.
Oh, thank goodness.
More of the dark passions, actually. The Duchess of Malfi. Where's the jam?
Alas, how have these offended?
The death of young wolves is never to be pitied.
Fix your eyes here.
Constantly.
Do you not weep? Other sins only speak. Murder shrieks out. The element of water moistens the earth, but blood flies up and bedews the heavens.
Cover her face. Mine eyes dazzle. She died young.
I think not so. Her infelicity seemed to have years too many.
She and I were twins. And should I die this instant, I had lived her time to a minute.
It seems she was born first. You have bloodily approved the ancient truth that kindred commonly do worse agree than remote strangers.
Let me see her face again.
How do I know why she screamed?
Well, Webster was much possessed by death, of course.
Oh, well done, Raymond. Personally, I loathe Jacobean drama. I suppose it was the shock.
Oh, I think we shall find it something much more than that, Joe.
I must apologize. Gwenda's very sorry, and so am I. She's gone to bed.
Oh, how is she, poor dear?
Well, she's still very shaken. I don't quite know what to do. It's all rather a muddle. Like one of your puzzles, Miss Marple. I don't think I should leave her alone too long.
No, no. Well, I wonder. Well, I don't like to interfere, but you think I might possibly speak to her?
That would be very kind. Yes, she'd like that.
Oh, good. Yes, well, then I'll go up, shall I?
I'm pouring drinks, Aunt Jane. What do you want?
Cocoa would be very nice. And hot sweet tea for Gwenda, and lots of hot water bottles. Thank you.
You know the rum?
Have we any cocoa?
Or hot water bottles? Dear Aunt Jane.
Whiskey we have, and you deserve a large one.
Thanks. Gwenda's still very upset.
Well, I think I'm going mad. I must be going mad. All those things that happened in the house, in Hillside, and then tonight.
Yes.
It happened quite suddenly. I was enjoying the play, not thinking about the house or anything. And then he said those words, the Duke. Cover her face. Mine eyes dazzle. She died young. And I was there, on the stairs at Hillside, looking down through the banisters. And I saw her lying there, her hair all golden, and her face. She was strangled. There was a man. I saw his hands. They were grey, wrinkled like monkey's paws. She was dead.
Who was dead?
Helen. Why did I say that? I don't know any Helen. You see, I'm mad. I ought to see a psychiatrist at once.
Unless it's too late.
Well, you can always do that when you wish, but I think it's better to examine the simplest explanation first. Now, you say that several things about this house seem familiar. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, then, the easiest and most natural explanation is that you've seen them before.
In another life, you mean?
No, dear, no. I mean in this life.
But I've never been in England until 6 weeks ago. My father sent me straight from India to New Zealand.
And you remember that? You remember the voyage to New Zealand?
No.
Well, then, I think it's quite possible that you came to England for a time and actually lived at Hillside, and the room that you remember was probably your nursery.
It was a nursery. There are bars on the window. But that's impossible.
No, no, not impossible. Just a remarkable coincidence. And in life, coincidences do happen. Remember, you chose the house. And you had no revulsion of feelings until that very definite moment when you started to come downstairs and looked into the hall.
Then that's true as well. I mean, Helen?
Well, dear, I think we have to face the facts that if those were memories, this is a memory too. Remember, you told me you saw the body through the banisters, just as you would have done, standing on the stairs as a little child.
I must speak to Aunt Alison.
In New Zealand?
She'll know.
Oh, good morning, Miss Marple. Am I disturbing you?
Oh, my dear boy, of course not. No, not in the least.
Gwenda's just coming down. She had breakfast on a tray. It was pretty late before we got to bed last night.
Oh, and was Gwenda able to get in touch with her relations in New Zealand?
I don't think Aunt Alison quite realised it was the middle of the night here. But what you said to Gwenda was quite true. It seems her father took her to England after her mother's death, and on the way over he met a young woman on the boat and married her in London.
Oh, a stepmother. And did Aunt Alison recall her name?
I gather she walked out on him quite soon. That's why Gwenda was sent to New Zealand. But Aunt Alison did remember one thing. They had a house in Devonshire. Dartmouth she thought it was, but it could have been Dilmouth. So that all fits.
And did Gwenda explain to Aunt Alison why she was making all these inquiries?
She said something about having a strong feeling she'd been in England before, but the line wasn't too hot.
And Aunt Alison seems to have left one or two things unsaid in the past to Gwenda.
Obviously, it wasn't a happy marriage. I suppose she thought it best forgotten.
Oh, there you are, my dear.
Good morning, Miss Marple. Raymond's battering his typewriter, but where's Joan?
In the studio.
Has Giles told you all the news? And how brilliant you are?
Oh.
We just couldn't get to sleep. It seemed to explain so much, and then so much it didn't.
Ah, yes, that's true now.
We've got to find out, of course.
Find out what?
The truth. Who was Helen? And was she really murdered? I've got to know.
Oh, my dear, I do advise you. I do advise you most strongly not to do that.
Why? I expect it's all imagination, but Gwenda won't be happy until she knows.
Giles is right, Miss Marple. I've got to see it through. Don't you understand?
Oh, yes, of course I understand, because you're both so young and charming, and you're just beginning. And you simply can't imagine anything that... Yes, I was thinking of Freddie Lovelace. He was dairyman at Home Farm, and his mother had apparently once won first prize for chrysanthemums. Oh, long before Freddie was born. Quite a triumph for her. And when she died, he tried to find the certificate to have it framed. He was so proud of her, you see. It was a grave mistake.
Why? It turned out she hadn't won?
Oh, no, my dear. It turned out she wasn't his mother. All I'm saying is that I wish, oh, I do so wish, that you'd leave the past alone.
Was it here?
A bit nearer the stairs. I think it must be true. What Miss Marple said, I mean.
And you can't remember anything else here in the hall?
Just Helen.
Well, no one in Dilmouth seems to know anything, so it can't have been a murder. The parish registry of deaths wasn't much help.
What idiots. You know who we should ask?
Who?
The land agents. My father must have bought this house, or at least rented it.
Of course. Galbraith and Penderley.
Was a Halliday. My prep school, Yorkshire. 70 years ago. Good God, why come to me? I'm an old man. Retired years ago.
We thought perhaps you might remember Mr. Galbraith, because my father came here from India. And Mr. Penderley said you were out there in the First World War.
India, do you say?
We think Gwenda's father might have rented Hillside.
Yeah, was it called Hillside then? Was a chap. Young wife and a baby. Little girl.
That was me.
You don't say so. Well, well. Now, what was his name?
Halliday.
That's right, my dear. Nice fella. Very pretty wife. Young, fair-haired. Wanted to be near her people or something like that. Yes, very pretty.
Who were her people?
No idea. No idea at all, my dear. Didn't look like you.
No, well...
St. Catherine's. Yes, that's what the place was called. He took St. Catherine's at 8 guineas a week. While Mrs. Finderson was out in Egypt. Didn't she run off with someone, that young girl, Halliday's wife?
We thought you might tell us.
Oh, I don't know, my dear. It's a devil of a long time ago, anyway. You can tell Beryl I want my drink.
I didn't dream it then. So, my stepmother was young, and she had fair hair. But we still don't know her name.
We didn't. This is from Raymond. I asked him to make a cheque for me at Somerset House.
What's Somerset House?
The Registry of Births, Deaths and Marriages. Yes, here it is. A duplicate of your father's certificate. Kensington Registry Office, August 7th.
Kelvin James Halliday to Helen Spenlove Kennedy.
But it can't have been her you saw. Galbraith said she went away.
How do we know? How do we know she went away? You?
Well, my dear, quite a surprise to you, I'm sure.
What are you doing here?
Well, my doctor ordered me to the seaside for a change, and you always told me how attractive Dilmouth was, and I have a friend who had a cook who now takes boarders on the front, so I came here.
Well, why didn't you come and see us?
Oh, I think the old person is rather a nuisance to a young married couple.
No, not you.
Well, it would have made me welcome, I'm sure. Well, now, how are you both getting on? To tell you the truth, I was thinking of you only a moment ago.
You were?
Yes. I've been studying the local newspaper. Always a source of information.
Ah. Then you've seen our advertisement. I'm afraid we haven't altogether taken your advice.
Well, good advice is almost certain to be ignored, but that's no reason for not giving it. Now, I always find the personal so intriguing. Will anyone with a knowledge of Helen Spendler Halliday, née Kennedy, etc., etc. So it was Helen.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Well, you must forgive me if I seem concerned, but my life has so few excitements. And I know you won't think me inquisitive if I asked you to let me know how you're getting on.
No, of course not. If it wasn't for you, I'd probably been a loony bin. No, we'll tell you everything. And you must come to afternoon tea and see the house. We've put the advertisement in the Times as well. So we're bound to get some answers, don't you think?
Yes, I think so. I do think so, my dear.
Galls Hill, Woodley Bolton. Dear Sir, in answer to your advertisement in the Times, Helen Spenlove Kennedy is my sister. I've lost touch with her for many years and should be glad to have news of her. Yours faithfully, James Kennedy, MD.
Good Lord. You don't mean to tell me you're Gwenny?
Yes, I'm Gwenny.
This goes for some ceremony. We must have tea. Please sit down.
Thank you.
So, you've bought the house in Dilmouth, have you?
Yes, it's quite a strange coincidence. We bought Hillside.
I believe you told me on the phone.
It was for sale, you see.
Hmm?
It's the same house my father had all those years ago.
Hillside? Oh, but surely.
They changed the name, I think, just before the war.
I got the right place. On the Leahampton Road as you go down into the town.
Yes, it used to be called St. Catherine's.
Of course. Ah, Mrs. Rowe, we thought we'd have some tea, some cakes, or some hot buttered toast, or something. I don't usually go in for tea. What made you want to come back to St. Catherine's? You can't remember much about it, surely.
No, very little. But somehow it felt like home.
It felt like home.
So, I hoped you could tell me all about it. My father and Helen. Well, everything.
Well, there's not much. Helen was coming back from India. She met your father on the boat. He'd lost his wife, fell in love with her, and she felt sorry for him. And there you are. It's hard to know how these things happen. But they married in London, and then they came down to me. I was in practice in Dilmouth then. He's a nice fellow, Kelvin. A bit nervy and run down, but they were very happy together then. However, in less than a year, she ran away with someone else. You probably know about that.
Who did she run away with?
She didn't tell me. I wasn't in her confidence. But I couldn't help seeing there was some friction between her and Kelvin. She didn't want me to know what was going on. I wouldn't have approved. They often had people to stay with them. I always imagined it was one of them.
There wasn't a divorce then?
Oh, no. Helen didn't want a divorce. Kelvin told me that. That's why I imagined, perhaps wrongly, it was a case of some married man. Someone whose wife was a Catholic, perhaps.
And my father?
He didn't want a divorce either.
Why did he suddenly decide to send me to New Zealand?
Well, I gather your people out there were pressing him, and after the breakup of the marriage...
But why didn't he take me himself?
I don't know. He was in rather poor health at the time.
But what did he die of?
I'm afraid I don't remember all the details. As I say, he was in poor health, and he went to a sanatorium somewhere on the East Coast, and he died there about 2 years later.
Where was it exactly?
I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Can you tell us where he was buried?
You know, I don't think we should dwell on the past. It was all such a long time ago, and we rather lost touch when he left Dilmouth. I've no idea at all where your father is buried.
That's strange.
Well, not really. Helen was the link. I was always very fond of Helen, tried to take care of her. She was my half-sister, you know, much younger than I was. She got involved early on with the most unsuitable young man, and I took care of that. And then she elected to go to India to marry Walter Fane, son of Dilmouth's leading solicitor, and frankly, as dull as dishwater. When she reached Bombay and saw him again, it was all off. And then, well, she met your father coming home. You see what I mean? I was always worried about Helen. Do you know where she is at all? I'd like to get in touch with her again.
No. No, we don't know at all. That's one of the reasons we came to see you.
But I thought from your advertisement. So tell me, why did you advertise?
We were hoping. We thought someone who knew her might be able to tell me something about my father.
Well, yeah. Well, now, I'm sorry. That's all I know.
What did you make of it?
I think it's hiding something. I wish we'd never started this.
Jim, look what I found here in the paper. I almost strained the chips onto it. Will anyone with a knowledge of Ellen Spenlow Halliday, née Kennedy, communicate with Messrs. Newman? Well, that's Mrs. Halliday I was in service with at Dilmouth. Her name was Ellen, right enough, and she was sister to Dr. Kennedy and was cured my chilblains. Well, you think there's any money in it? Might be a will or something. It's a powerful long time ago. Well, you don't think it could be police, do you, Jim?
Whatever.
Well, you know what I always thought. And I said it to Edie, but she wouldn't have it. And I'd have said a tiny bit more at the time. Only I nipped out the pictures that night, and I didn't want to draw attention to it. No, 'twouldn't likely be police, not after all this time. But it doesn't say to your advantage. Do you think I should, Jim?
Not if I was you, Lily.
Why ever not?
Only leads to trouble, that sort of thing. When's supper ready?
I'll answer, darling. Hello?
Mr. Reed, is Dr. Kennedy here?
Hello, Dr. Kennedy.
I was thinking of our talk this afternoon. There are one or two things I think you and your wife ought to know. Seems odd to be here again. Well, now, I take it you're still determined to find the sanatorium where your father died.
Yes, yes, we are.
Well, that should be easy enough for you, I imagine, after what I've told you.
Shall we sit down?
Thank you. So, I thought it better if you heard the facts from me. It won't do you or anybody any good, Gwenny. But there it is. No, thank you. Your father wasn't physically ill. The sanatorium in question was a mental home.
A mental home? You mean he was mad?
He had a very severe mental breakdown. He was suffering from delusional obsessions.
What kind of delusions?
He was under the impression that he'd strangled his wife.
Strangled? And had he?
What? No, of course he hadn't.
How do you know?
My dear girl, was never any question of such a thing. He'd been in a very unbalanced state for some time, and the shock when Helen left him sent him over the edge. If a man would rather his wife was dead than unfaithful, he can persuade himself of anything, even that he killed her.
So you're quite sure there's no question that he actually did what he said?
Oh, quite sure. I'd had 2 letters from Helen. One when she went away after a week to France, and another about 6 months later. No, the whole thing was a delusion, pure and simple.
Can you tell us about it?
I'll try to. He'd been having dreams. And the dreams always ended up in the same way, with throttling Helen. Well, it all came to a head one evening after I got back from the hospital. It was a Friday, I remember. Kelvin was waiting for me in my consulting room. He'd been there about a quarter of an hour. And when I came in, he looked up at me and he said, "I've killed Helen." Well, I didn't know what to think, so I said, "Have you had another dream?" He said, "No, no, no. It's true. She's lying there, strangled." Well, he seemed very cool and reasonable. So I got the car out again and took him back to the house. It was quiet and dark, I remember. We went up to the bedroom.
The bedroom?
Yes, of course, that's where it happened. Of course, when we got in, there was nothing disturbed. The whole thing was an hallucination.
What did my father say?
He persisted in his story, of course. So I gave him a sedative and put him to bed in the dressing room. I found a note in a waste paper basket in here. It said, "Going away with the only man I've ever loved." Clearly, he come in and read it and experienced a severe attack of hysterical amnesia. That's all.
He wasn't alone that night in the house.
Oh, no, of course, you were tucked up in bed, but I questioned the housemaid. I took her upstairs into Helen's room. We went through her things. She'd packed a suitcase and a bag before she went away. So, the next morning, I talked to Kelvin, and he agreed to go into a nursing home. Well, Helen's letter came from Berlitz. She said she didn't want a divorce, and she hoped that Kelvin would forget her as soon as possible. He went into the private mental home, and that's where he died.
And you got another letter from Helen?
Oh, yes. Postal restaurant from Florence. She said if Kelvin wanted a divorce, she'd let him have the evidence. Well, I showed it to him, and he said at once that he didn't. So I wrote and told her. And that's the very last I ever heard. Of course, the war blotted out many things. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Granny. But you had to know.
Aunt Allison never breathed a word.
No. No, she never did. I knew all the time.
We still can't be sure.
I knew it was Helen. I saw she was strangled.
But Gwenda, there was no body. Your father was mistaken. You could have been mistaken, too.
No, Giles.
Listen, Gwenda, it's the only thing that makes any sense. Supposing he came in and found her writing the note. Suppose he saw Red, grabbed a hold of her, he got his hands round her throat, and well, that's what you saw.
And then what?
Well, and then she passed out. He thought he'd killed her, rushed off to get Dr. Kennedy, and, well, meantime, she recovers or her lover turns up.
No, it's impossible. I know she was dead. Like a dog that throws back its head and howls.
Hello?
Oh, Dad.
What's she doing here?
I forgot to tell you, I invited her to afternoon tea.
Oh, Gwenda.
Come on, we've got to go through with it.
All right, if you say so, darling.
Oh, hello?
Hello, Miss Marple. How are you enjoying Dilmouth?
Oh, very much. Yes, I have friends who have friends here, and I've received a number of pleasant invitations.
That's nice.
Yes, indeed. Oh, what a beautiful spot. Well, I do so hope that you've settled in by now.
Well,
The fact is, Miss Marple, we've just had a visitor. And rather a shock for me.
Well, my dears, I do see what you mean.
It's what you thought in London, isn't it? I mean, you thought then that my father might be involved.
Well, it occurred to me as a possibility. In a case of strangling, it's so often the husband who is involved.
I wish now we'd taken your advice. But once you've started, you can't go back.
No. However dangerous the journey, you can't turn back.
Well, I don't see how we can go forward. Nothing makes any sense.
Well, there's always the possibility of X.
X?
X?
The unknown factor. Someone who hasn't appeared yet, but whose presence behind the facts can be deduced. A lover, perhaps. Someone who posted those letters from abroad other than Helen. Of course, you're both too young to remember the case of Dr. Crippen when something similar occurred.
We've got to visit the place where my father died. Perhaps we'll find something there.
I remember your father quite well, Mrs. Reed. Though I wasn't in charge of the case, that was Dr. Maguire, who was superintendent then, and I was his junior. Would you like to come in?
Thank you, Dr. Penrose.
Thank you.
I had Dr. Kennedy's letter. I've been going through the notes of your father's case history. Some very unusual features, most interesting.
I'm afraid I really know very little about my father, Dr. Penrose.
We hoped you'd tell us as much as you can.
Yes. Remarkable obsession, believing he'd strangled his wife in a fit of jealous rage. The delusion itself wasn't untypical. And what was lacking was the accompanying evidence of psychotic symptoms. What I mean is, Mrs. Reed, he wasn't mad, or didn't appear so.
How would you describe my father, Dr. Penrose?
Very convincing. Gentle, kindly, over-controlled. Quite frankly, at first I was inclined to believe him.
You actually believed he killed his wife?
I said at first. Later, as we got deeper into Major Halliday's history, we diagnosed it as a delusional neurosis, with roots far back into his childhood. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to complete his analysis. You knew, I suppose, he committed suicide.
No.
No, we didn't know that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd been told. We admitted some responsibility. He'd been prescribed sleeping tablets before his admission. Clearly, he was pretending to take the nightly dose until he had sufficient.
Was he so unhappy?
Oh, no. It was guilt, not depression. He tried at first, you know, to call the police. A normal desire for punishment. I remember he told me that he thought at one time his wife was secretly giving him drugs. Probably related to his days in India. Cases of women driving their husbands mad with datura poisoning often appeared in the native courts. Here's a typical interview. Dr. Maguire's notes, your father speaking. Came into the house, everything dark. Went into dining room as usual, poured drink. Then went through to drawing room. And then he said he remembers nothing, till standing in bedroom looking down at Helen strangled. He knew he'd done it.
How did he know?
Question, Do you remember killing her? Answer, no. Then how do you know? Answer, because she's dead. Same pattern, over and over again. Impossible to convince him. Oh, he left this diary, by the way. Suppose you might like to have it. It's not especially important to the record, medically speaking. Would you like to have it, Mrs. Reed?
Yes. Yes, I should like that very much.
What's true? I've written to James Kennedy. Let Helen come to see me if she's alive. He says he doesn't know where she is, but I'm not deceived. He's a good fellow, and he knows I killed her. After all the dreams, the nightmares, because I always knew from the very first that there was someone else.
There's always the possibility of X, the unknown factor. Someone who hasn't appeared yet, but whose presence behind the facts can be deduced. A lover, perhaps.
Once you've started, you can't go back.
No. However dangerous the journey, you can't turn back.
This is the only way. For me, and for little Gwenny. I always knew that there was someone else.